I think a world is not just a world in a single time. You're always thinking about how did it get to this place. That's fundamental to world building. Most of the worlds I've designed have had a specific set of conditions or problems. And so I start there, like what are we trying to solve? Then my process is first to get absorbed in the culture of the world. If it's science fiction, if it's something that is unknown, I'm still trying to get any pointer I can to allow myself to know it. But ultimately, I'm trying to get to a point where I know the world so well that all of the answers come out of that container for narrative. Viathan is a new kind of space for me. As soon as you step into the virtual space, you can look around, you can go left or right when you go out of the door, you can look up and down, you have the entire context of the space there in front of you. So I'm absolutely not a director in that space, but I'm really interested in how you would direct is in that space.
As a performer, creating this virtual world, first of all, the actor who's trying to inhabit this character has to understand the world.
So the experiment we did at Zemeckis was to allow the actors essentially to kind of join the process as collaborators. A virtual space that's built, you can inhabit it, it's 300 foot long, it's 3 stories high, and it's slung underneath a 1,000-foot flying whale.
That's really an enormous amount that they have to absorb because we don't realize how much we take for granted understanding our world in such minutia that it's really hard to replicate in a virtual world. We recognize that method acting would be only helped by being on the location so that you felt and saw how these people lived and worked and you were a part of it. So all that's gone now too. And we have to endow everything. Directors, I don't think they know how to deal with it. They just want you to imagine better. I would like to address this.
We're really just interested in how do you use the world to inform the story, and then how do you use the collaboration around that story to invest it with emotional resonance. And so in that experiment, getting the actors to dive into the world that they don't know, they've been there for 2 hours, they're just getting to know it.
I mean, little things that we just take for granted, I don't know in this new world. Therefore, the actor has a hideous time.
I think what's maybe interesting and what was stimulating to them is the performance really has to go internal. It really is about building the character. Thinking about this now, but it seems to me that an actor is mostly responding to a director, to direction, to context, to a play, to the words on the page. This feels more like jazz, you know. It feels more like understanding the conditions and then responding to the conditions. And it's early stages. We'll see where it goes. And my job, I always feel, is the kind of the world around the possibility of story and being able to trigger the stories, but not necessarily being the person who's responsible for the stories that get pulled out of that space. I think it's sort of impossible for us to develop or think about stories and therefore story worlds or story spaces except through a human lens.